Over this semester, while working on the Weebly, I wasn't too excited to start something like that. I'm not a big fan of long tasks that I know are going to take a lot of energy and a lot of time. I tend to get bored pretty quickly. But looking back, there is a lot of things that I found that were interesting and some things that, even surprised me about it. One of the things that I think really surprised me about it was how professional you really could get it to look. I'm not for sure if I'll keep a Weebly when I go into professional. I might. It's something that I will have to think about. But just looking back at it, it is something that I think you could definitely use as a way to showcase what you've done and what you know, maybe even put teaching lessons in there. This is probably my favorite part of my personal Weebly was the beginning. Each picture I took was my own picture. I made each one of these. You can even see my name a little bit in that bottom picture. But I had a lot of fun taking these pictures and designing, the cover page that talked about who I am the best. The most difficult for me was writing my About Me page. This is my About Me page, and I think just to find information was what was really difficult for me. Who I really am and how do I sum that up in a paragraph is something difficult, but I think something that is great for students to learn how to do. We don't have days and hours and weeks to tell people who we are, so we have to sum it up in a very short time. One of my favorite things we did on a Weebly, other than my two things I've talked about in the previous question, was our iMovie. I wasn't particularly happy with the one that I came up with, but I just think it's really awesome. You don't normally think of using iMovie or iMovie trailers as a way to, teach a class lessons. So it was definitely something cool that we got to try. And I think one of the things I'm most proud of, maybe not because of the quality, but because it's outside of the box thinking. I won't show the whole thing, but I'll show you just a sneak peek of the video. One of the wow moments that I had while creating this was just, how professional, I kind of touched on this at the beginning, but just really how professional it is. And really, it wasn't a ton of work to make it look professional. If I could change anything about it, I think I would change maybe my layouts on some of my pages. I think I tried to stick with my theme, which is very modern and fun and teachery, but I think some of it wasn't conveyed in all my pages. I need to add more to my contact me page. I think right now I just have my email address, but I do have my little icons down at the bottom that you can get a hold of me there. But I think if I was going to continue on this, that would be the first thing that I would do. One of the most interesting parts to me was the reviews. I definitely understand with projects how this showcases what you've done and what you can accomplish in a classroom, but I think the reviews were probably the most challenging for me to do, partly because I didn't truly understand the meaning behind them until now that I look back, and I think it's just a good way to get your thoughts down and maybe even have a way to teach students in the future about different things. By far, my favorite review was over Clinspiration, and she just was amazing. I loved reading so much about Erin, and I'm still reading a lot of her blogs today, so that was awesome to learn about, and I'm still following her on Twitter. So she's just an amazing person who just goes so much deeper than touching the surface with students. Overall, I had never done a Weebly in the past, and so it was a new thing to create a website, but I'm glad I know the information now because I think it would be great to have, a classroom website so that parents can keep track of what's going on, or even the students can kind of know a little bit about their teacher or what the classroom's like before they go in. Maybe be a way to brag to their grandparents or friends or family, about what they do. I think a website might be a little safer than posting it all over Facebook or Twitter. I think those are definitely great outlets, but maybe those kiddos don't want their pictures all over random person's social media. So it's just a bit of a safer way to brag about your classroom and show all the awesome stuff that you do. The last thing I'll say to kind of sum it up is that I think overall it was a good experience. I think it was a lot of work and it's very time consuming, but it's a great way to have all my stuff there. And if I, wanted to go back and be like, oh yeah, I really liked an assignment we did, but I didn't truly remember what it was, then I have pretty much all the information there. So when this class closes and I don't have access to those rubrics anymore, I've got the finished product.